Good afternoon, everybody. Want to welcome you to this week's version of the Awesome Dynamics Show. I'm Terry Levin. I'm our Director of Sales. I want to briefly introduce you to the rest of our group. We have Paul, our President and Owner, with us today. We also have Blake, Phil, and Tim, who's going to get us started today on our topic of Amazon Brand Registry. So, Tim, let's jump right in.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry, for that great introduction. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Amazon Brand Registry. What is it? How does it work? And why is it important? So without much further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So first, we're going to talk about what exactly is Brand Registry. All right, so Brand Registry is a program for Amazon third-party sellers. And this program is available in Seller Central. And the whole idea behind Branded Registry, it's a way to manage and add branded branded products onto Amazon.com. There are a couple categories that you cannot get brand registry in, and a couple of those categories include books, music, videos, and DVDs, as well as entertainment collectibles and sports collectibles. So, just to kind of recap a little bit, the brand registry is just all about if you have a product that you have or sell, you get control over that product on Amazon. And we're going to dive in a little bit more, but we're going to just kind of proceed through here. Next is going to be who can actually enroll in brand registry, who can actually have control of those products on Amazon. First is going to be manufacturers who want to sell their own branded product. There's also sellers who private label their own branded products. So you might have a product that's manufactured by contract by somebody else that has your brand name on it. So that's a private label, and you can get brand registry for that. And of course, if you're a distributor or reseller or individual with authorization from the manufacturer to represent their brand on Amazon, you can also enroll in brand registry. All right, so a little bit more about this. The whole idea is that what happens is who ultimately has control over these product pages. Product pages on Amazon have all the details in there, the product photos, the title, the description, the bullet points, and the question is, okay, who actually has control over how these listings are presented on Amazon.com. The highest level of control is people who are first-party sellers on Amazon, which includes people who supply their product to Amazon through Vendor Central and Vendor Express. So if I'm a manufacturer or distributor that's in Vendor Central and Vendor Express, or Vendor Express, then you will submit content to Amazon, who will then approve it and make sure that that information goes live on the Amazon branded product page. Now, if no one is supplying product with supplying Amazon with product, and no one is in one of these programs, then the next level of control then falls onto people who are in the brand registry through Seller Central. So, but if someone has brand registry in Seller Central and that same product under that brand is also offered in Vendor Central, then the Vendor Central will be the control of that particular product. So if no one has brand registry and no one is in Vendor Central or Vendor Express, then more or less it's a free-for-all, where you have many sellers all contributing information into that listing. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how Amazon uses these contributions from multiple sellers to be able to determine what goes on the product page. But ultimately, this is more or less your hierarchy in terms of who has control over listings on Amazon. So before I dive in a little bit more into how the last section of this works with Seller Central contributions, because it's an important part to understand why it's so important to have brand registry. Does anyone have any questions or comments on that?
No, I think we're good so far.
Looks like Paul may have had a question there, or I don't know.
No, I was going to say not so far. Let's get into why, what happens when no one has control.
Yeah. So when no one has control, uh, then what happens is anyone who sells that particular product can contribute details. So I can any seller of that product can submit photos, can submit details, can submit keywords, can submit product titles, descriptions, bullet points, basically anything having to do with that particular product. Then Amazon pools all those different contributions and uses an algorithm to actually choose which contribution is what they're going to be using for the actual live listing. Now, what we have seen in the past is that sometimes there is one seller who actually does gain full authority over the listing without having brand registry, but where Amazon will then always use that seller's contributions, but it's not always guaranteed to be that way. And we see oftentimes this is a very rare situation where Amazon will actually give a non-brand registered seller carte blanche access to be able to change anything on that particular listing. So that's a little bit of a background into what exactly brand registry is and how it kind of fits into the Amazon ecosystem. And we're going to next talk about how it actually works. So let's move into that. First, if you do decide that you want to apply for brand registry, this is the process that you need to go through. First, you need to know that you can enroll your own brand. And the way that you do that is by providing several things. The first thing is you need to have an image of your product with the branding visibly printed on it. You also need an image of packaging with the packaging with the branding visibly printed on it. And for both of those, Amazon will not accept stickers. There are some people who or some sellers who just have a sticker with their brand name on it and their logo on it that just slap that onto their product and onto their, let's say, boxes, submit photos with that on there, and they get rejected. Amazon does not accept that. They want to actually see the branding imprinted on the product and packaging in order to approve you for brand registry. In addition to that, Amazon also wants to see a website for your brand or for your products with that brand on it, so that you have an association with that brand, either by owning it or maybe it's a subsidiary of a particular company that you work for or what have you. And then the other thing that really, really helps with brand registry is having a trademark on that brand. It's not necessarily a requirement, but Amazon has been rejecting brands that do not have proper trademark documentation available to send to them. Now, the other way that you can get brand registry, if you don't own your own brand, but let's say you have a partnership with a particular distributor where they can authorize you to represent their brand on Amazon, then what you can do is you can send them, Amazon actually provides a template where you can send that template to the manufacturer. It's a brand authorization letter, basically saying that you, the seller, are authorized by us, the manufacturer, to represent their brand on Amazon. So if you have a really good relationship with a manufacturer of some product that you sell, then that would be another way to be able to get brand registry. Okay, great. So let's say we went through the process. Amazon approved you into the brand registry program with the brand name that you have submitted. Then that's the first half of it. And a lot of people think that that's where it ends. You're like, okay, great. Now I can control my listings, but this is where a lot of the work comes into play. This next part, which is enrolling your products into brand registry, is where a lot of legwork is usually done in terms of making sure you have control over your listings. So what you have to do in order to make sure your products successfully enroll into your brand registry is first, make sure that the brand name matches exactly how you submitted it on the brand registry application. So on Seller Central, when you go to edit a product, you'll see that there is a field to be able to enter in the product brand name, and that brand name needs to, again, match exactly how it does on the application. So let's say if you have a registered name of brand name with a capital B and a capital N with no space in between them, then these are examples of brand names that do not work. So if your brand name on your product is spelled, let's say in all caps like that, that does not match. Same thing with let's say all caps with a space in between, does not match. Brand name with a space in between them does not match. All lowercase does not match. All lowercase with just the first B, and basically you get the idea. It needs to match exactly how it is in the application in order to successfully enroll in the program. So the way that you edit that brand name, as I kind of mentioned before, is when you're on the Manage Inventory screen, you want to click on Edit next to the product that you want to update, and then you want to update your brand name through there. Another way that you can do it is by using flat files, where you do your inventory upload and update all your brand names en masse. And the whole idea is that once you have that brand name matched up exactly, then it should enroll successfully. Now, once you update your products, the idea is that you want to wait 24 hours because we all know that sometimes Amazon doesn't update product pages immediately after submitting changes. So you want to wait 24 hours. And if the brand name is still not able to be changed, your next step is to submit a case to Amazon to have them change the name. Amazon may require photos, kind of like in the brand registry application, to show that exact product with that brand name on it in order to approve the change. But that's the first step, is you need to make sure that the brand name is matching exactly how it does on the brand registry application. The next part is, in addition to having the brand name match exactly with the application, the other thing is that you need to make sure that each product in the brand registry has a unique key attribute. So the unique key attribute is more or less a unique product number, such as a UPC, where each product has their own unique one. Now, we're going to dive in a little bit into what other kind of unique attributes you can use a little bit later in the presentation. But the whole idea is that you need to make sure that each product has the correct unique key attributes and that each product has the correct brand name. If it doesn't have one of those, Amazon will not automatically enroll your product. And if they do, and they don't automatically enroll, that's, again, where you want to go through the process of making sure, or open a case with Amazon to have them troubleshoot why it's not enrolling. So, Tim, the question is, how do you verify that your product is successfully enrolled in brand registry? Well, Tim, I'm glad you asked the question. So
great question, Tim.
Thank you. This is, there always used to be just one very surefire way to make sure that this happened, but it seems like over the last couple of months, Amazon has kind of changed the way that they do this. In fact, their help files are not the same as what they once were a couple of months ago, and we've been seeing that there could be up to 4 different ways now to verify whether or not your product is successfully enrolled. So we're gonna go through all 4 of the different ways, but the whole idea is that there are ways for you to check yourself to see if a product is enrolled successfully without having to ask Amazon. So the first way is okay, great. So I wanted to talk about, we talked about those unique identifiers, the key attribute that we were talking about before. There are several different types of unique identifiers that you could see as a product ID. One is a UPC that you bought from GS1 or whichever authority that you have in your country to be able to purchase a UPC or an EAN. There's a couple other numbering systems out there, but that's the first thing. There is also the possibility that you might be assigned as your unique identifier what's called a GCID, which is the Global Catalog Identifier. So these 2 are just very important things to kind of keep in mind as we proceed through this, if your product shows this in a certain area, then that's where you'll see that that will kind of show that that they are successfully enrolled in brand registry. And just so we know, the GCID is a 16-character unique identifier that Amazon assigns your product. And the nice thing is if you do sell across multiple marketplaces, so let's say if you sell in the US marketplace and Canada and Mexico, there is going to be, you can use the same GCID across all of them to basically control all your listings together, which is another kind of advantage of having this in this program under your belt when you are setting up your Seller Central accounts. All right. So now, how do we verify enrollments? The first thing, now that we kind of got a little backgrounder into the GCIDs and the UPCs, and knowing that that's what we're really looking for, the first place that that has traditionally been the place to look to see if your product has been enrolled is by pulling your inventory reports. So if you go to your inventory at the top of the screen and then click on Inventory Reports from the dropdown, you'll be able to select from different reports, and you'll want to select the report type of Active Listings Reports. When you open up that, when you get that, when it's prepared and then you download it onto your computer, you'll then open this document and you can copy and paste it into a spreadsheet. Once you open that up in a spreadsheet, you'll see that one of the columns is called Product ID. And under Product ID, if you see that there is a GCID or a UPC in that column for that particular product, that means that it's successfully enrolled. If you see an ASIN in that particular field, then that means that it is not enrolled. And that whole idea of a UPC being there as opposed to a GCID is a relatively new thing. It used to always be GCIDs, but we've had many conversations with Amazon who have told us now that having a UPC as a unique product ID does show successful enrollment in brand registry. All right, so let's say that's still not unclear, and we seem to still not be able to get the enrollment still doesn't seem to go through. Another place that you can check to see if you are enrolled successfully is just by looking at your Manage Inventory screen. So if you go onto Manage Inventory, we need to enable a column that's not enabled by default in order to see what's going on. So if you click on the preferences and it says, maybe 6 columns hidden or 8 columns hidden or what have you, you click on that in the upper right-hand corner. And then you'll see a bunch of options that you can select or deselect, and you want to select the option next to UPC /EAN. After you do that, scroll down to the bottom and select Save Changes. And once you do that, it'll return you back to your inventory screen where you'll see a new column that says UPC /EAN. And at this point, the way that you can know whether or not you're enrolled is if there's now a GCID there. If there's a UPC there, that doesn't necessarily mean you're enrolled or not enrolled. Usually that just means that you might have to use a different method to verify enrollment. But if there's a GCID there, that means successful enrollment in brand registry. All right, great. Now, those are the two most common ways, but Amazon has introduced other tools now that we can use to also verify enrollment, which seems like that they haven't really well documented some of these or one of these, but so far it hasn't steered us wrong. So the first thing is by going into business reports. So under business reports along the top, you'll see you want to go to reports drop down at the top of Amazon Seller Central and select business reports. Under business reports on the left-hand column, you'll see something called brand performance. If you look at that brand performance column, the report, you'll see a list of all products that are successfully enrolled in any of your brands that you currently are registered for along with some other interesting information. Like they show you, recent reviews that were left and the average rating of product reviews. They show you just other information that you may find relevant to your product. But the fact that they exist in this particular report is another confirmation that a product has been successfully enrolled. But Amazon hasn't documented this report anywhere in their help files anywhere. But we have found that it is consistent with our other methods to verify enrollment. So we think that it is a very good way to be able to spot check whether or not your product has been enrolled. All right. And then the last way that you can also verify enrollment is by using one of those new tools that we mentioned, I believe, last week, using that enhanced brand content, which we're going to, again, touch on again a little bit later, where the enhanced brand content is basically only available to you if A, you have brand registry, and B, your product is successfully enrolled in that brand. So the whole idea is that if you go into enhanced brand content, you can copy and paste your SKU into the enhanced brand content, and just so you know, enhanced brand content is you go to advertising at the top of Seller Central and select enhanced brand content. Then you paste that SKU into the text box next to in the middle of the screen there, and then you just click on get started. If it's asking you to then select templates, then that means that you've been successfully enrolled. But if there's an error, then that means that you are not enrolled. We've also seen that there's sometimes an error saying that that basically you don't have authority to be able to control this listing, and we've seen that in situations where the product is being provided by Amazon through Vendor Central, and therefore Amazon / the vendor have ultimate control over it. Therefore, you can't submit information over it. Great. Well, I think I have talked enough, at least for this first half. There's still a couple things that I want to go over, but want to see if anyone had any questions or anything before we moved into our little mid-webinar break here.
I think we're good. Why don't we give it to Terry for our quick commercial?
Great. Terry, do you want to take it over?
I sure do. Great. I do. All right, everybody. So thank you, Tim. Great job so far. Learning a lot about the brand registry, and I will say that that's a topic of conversation with me and our potential clients on a regular basis. So this is great. A great tool for them to get a look at and get some information. With that being said, I want to take a quick run through our website real quick. And basically what we're all about is getting you targeted customers. So we always talk how our new customers are calling us every day, and we're wondering if yours are. And if they're not, you should be reaching out to us to get some help on getting that done. We do it in a few different ways. Obviously, we're talking about Amazon today. So we're definitely helping in the world of Amazon seller consulting, working with everybody from new people jumping in with one product who want to get started to larger companies with thousands and thousands of products that need our help in running their day-to-day Amazon business. So any different way we can help you, we'd love to talk to you about the Amazon consulting part of our business. Other ways we get you those new targeted customers are with our responsive web design. So web design that will be looking fantastic on any different type of device, which is very important in this day and age. And then the SEO services to target those customers and get them to that beautiful new website. Then we also do the Google virtual tours, which is a great way for people to get an online preview of your business, and also gives you a nice little SEO boost, especially if your competition doesn't have one and you do. So those are, in a quick way, some of the things that we do to help people get those new targeted customers. There's a great view of one of the virtual tours. They're really great. And especially for a restaurant, bar type of place, people are able to walk in and have a look around, see what they're going to be seeing when they get there. So it comes in very handy. A lot of doctors, dentists like to have them as well, but any business can benefit from having that opportunity. And again, you have your SEO boost, which helps quite a bit as well. So all ways that we can help you. You can reach out to me. Again, I'm Terry Levin. I'm our Director of Sales at terry@awesomedynamic.com, or give us a call at 800-238-1811. We'll take a little tour through the website a little further at the end, but just want you to remember that if you're looking to get new targeted customers, we can help you, and these are all the ways we can do it. So with that being said, Tim, are you ready to jump back in?
Tim might be on mute right now.
Oh, all right. Let
You
me
were
see.
absolutely correct, Paul. I apologize.
Tim, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back. All right. So yes, thank you so much for that little break there. So let's continue on and let's talk. This is going to be somewhat of a loose discussion talking about why it's important, but I wanted to touch on several things here. And once again, if anyone watching the webinar would like to ask any questions, feel free to. There's a box where you can write your message and post it, and we'll be more than happy to answer it for you during the webinar. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about brand registry and why you really need to get into this as one of the first things you do when you start selling your product on Amazon. So first and foremost, as we mentioned before, it gives you full listing control over your product that's under your brand. I can't tell you how many times we've had some sellers who maybe distribute their product through other sales channels, and they find that their product is then on Amazon, and they just don't like the way that it's being presented on Amazon. And the whole idea is, by being brand registered, you can then take control, improve the photos, and just to get a better presence. And you don't even technically have to sell the product on Amazon, but that would certainly present an opportunity for you to be able to improve your brand's image as it shows on Amazon. So now, keep in mind, this is a very common misconception. Some people think that by enrolling in brand registry, that might prevent other people from being able to sell your product on Amazon, when that is not, in fact, the case. We're going to touch a little bit more again on that and some of the other possible benefits of brand registry in the future. But yeah, as of right now, being in brand registry doesn't necessarily allow you to control who can sell your particular product on Amazon. However, if you do run into situations where people are selling counterfeits or knockoffs of your particular product on Amazon, it does give you a little bit more clout when it comes to reporting anyone who's not selling the authentic product and getting them kicked off as a result. So that is certainly one advantage that you can have by being brand registered when it comes to battling some of those counterfeit sellers out there. The other thing is you do get the ability to possibly list without standard product IDs. So we had mentioned before where Amazon requires a key attribute to be able to list your products on Amazon, and your key attribute traditionally would be something like a UPC, an EAN, something like that. However, there is the possibility to actually list products without a UPC if you're registered in brand registry. Now, in order to be able to do that, you need a couple of things. And one is you need to actually, and I'm going to go over this in just a moment, but one is you actually have to, what do I want to say? You need to be registered under brand registry, but you also need to be in a particular category that is not exempt from being able to have those UPC exemptions. So you usually have to apply additionally in order to be able to list without a UPC. So the first thing is, if you are registered for brand registry, by default, your key attribute is set up to be a UPC number. If you do not want to list with UPC numbers, then your next option is to submit a case to Amazon to change what's called your key attribute to a different type of key attribute. So by default, your key attributes are going to be a UPC, EAN, an ISBN. You can also use Amazon's GTIN when you get that assigned to you. I'm sorry, GTIN is not assigned by Amazon. That's a GCID. I got the two mixed up. But if you have an assigned GTIN, you can use those to list. But if you get your key attribute changed over by Amazon to, let's say, a part number, a catalog number, a model number, or a style number, then you can actually use that to list your product, and Amazon may not require you to use a UPC when you're actually listing that product. Once again, like everything else, the ability to be able to have UPC exemptions varies very greatly by category, and it's something where you have to apply and basically ask Amazon if you can have that UPC exemption in order to get your product added into Amazon. And if you do use a different key attribute, and you have to make sure, especially if you use the FBA program, that may affect the way that you have your products labeled and categorized and received by Amazon, because some people choose to use what's called the not multi-channel fulfillment, but commingled inventory, where Amazon uses a unique product number to know what product they're receiving and to what listing they belong to. So if you do get a UPC exemption, sometimes that might affect how your products, you might have to put a different kind of barcode and information on the outside of the packaging in order to participate in the FBA program. All right, great. So next thing is you do get access to do what's called enhanced brand content. We had covered this a lot in depth last week, talking about the advantages of being part of the enhanced brand content, where you can create these more captivating listings, but it's almost like a magazine style layout where you can have text and images intermingled in your description section, and it just really makes it read a lot better. The number of people who actually scroll down and pay attention to that section sometimes is not some people always ask, is it really beneficial having this kind of content on your listing? And the jury's out whether or not it's actually that impactful in the long run when it comes to customer buying decisions. So but we'll talk about some other future opportunities about what enhanced brand content may bring you. But right now, the cool thing about enhanced brand content, that's again only available to brand registered sellers, is that it's currently free to use. That does kind of imply that there may be some kind of cost to use this feature in the future. So if that's something that you want to take advantage of, I'd recommend you jump on it sooner than later while you have this free option available to you. Just to give you an idea, vendor programs charge for you to be able to do something similar called A+ content, and sometimes that can average they can be anywhere from $500 to $2,500 per listing to be able to get that kind of enhanced content on it. So the fact that it's free is kind of something that you really would want to take advantage of. And Amazon does say that more features are coming to enhance brand content. One example comes to mind that you might be able to add videos to your listings, which is actually something that we are going to, something that you'll see in just a moment. But that's exciting. They didn't really have, this kind of option for being able to, improve your listing. Amazon's always taken the hard line of, you can't use any kind of HTML to make your product detail page look a little bit more attractive. It's pretty much just text with line breaks in it, which really makes it, some sellers feel like their hands are tied, that they're not allowed to do more than that. So it's really nice to see that they're giving sellers more options, and I think it's a little bit more attractive to buyers as well. All right, so last thing is some rumored future benefits that we know that we've seen in different circles about what might be additional benefits you might receive by being part of brand registry. So we already touched on the fact that there's a lot of people saying that enhanced brand content will allow you to add videos at some point in the future, which would be really, really nice. And one other really, really strong thing that we think would be fantastic would be access to be able to do brand gating. So I'd mentioned earlier how just being in the brand registry program doesn't necessarily grant you the ability to control who can and cannot sell your product. However, that ability may be coming in the future. There is the option now where, let's say, if you are a product that's susceptible, and we've actually talked to Ted Limas about this before, who is an attorney that we've had on the webinar a couple of times before, who had mentioned that in some rare instances where a product is susceptible to repeated violations with someone selling counterfeit versions of a product, where you can submit a case to Amazon to have them restrict who can sell on that particular ASIN. So it's an ASIN level, what do you want to call it? It's an ASIN level gating where you basically anyone who wants to sell that particular ASIN needs to get prior approval from Amazon to be able to do so. So being able to expand that a little bit more to allow brand owners to control who is actually allowed to sell their particular brands on Amazon is a powerful tool that we would that I think we would really love to see come to brand registry. So that pretty much brings us to the end of the formal presentation for today. Didn't know if anyone wanted to add any comments or anything to that.
At this point, a lot of folks don't realize the power of brand registry and how it can really help you control your product. A lot of folks just list on Amazon and they're coming to us asking, why are my descriptions changing? Why are my titles changing? Why are different photos popping up? I keep asking Amazon to do this and they're not doing it. They're not changing the main photo. They're not going to do any of those things unless you have brand registry. Also, we have found, and although we don't have any hard evidence of this, but we do find that sometimes having the brand registry can help in getting category approval. If you can show Amazon that you are the brand owner of a brand or of a product that belongs in a particular category that you're trying to get into, that may help you get into that category as well. It also assists in the idea, like Tim had mentioned, controlling in some respects who's selling on the item, but it doesn't guarantee any sort of buy box. It just gives you more leverage. So you'll find a lot of rhetoric out on the internet that will say that well, if you have brand registry, it guarantees you the buy box, which is false. So it does give you some leverage in some areas, but it is not necessarily guarantee that anything will happen. It just gives you a lot more power than if you didn't have it. And the other piece that I wanted to make sure that we mentioned was to get the brand registry after you have all your ducks in a row is actually quite easy. You got to have a website that shows your products, and it has to be a decent website. Can't just be a one-pager. You got to have, it helps a lot to have your trademark. Sometimes we've seen brand registry go with a patent or a pending trademark rather than a fully certificated trademark, and you don't even need that certificate that you get after you get your trademark. You can just show your brand on the USPTO website.
Yeah,
so
uspto.gov.
Yeah, so you just submit a PDF printout of that page on the USPTO website, and then you have to have a picture of your brand on the packaging and on the product. Typically, if you have those 4 items, just slides right through. It's been that easy recently to get the brand registry, but you got to have your ducks in a row and have those things. If you don't have one of those items, you might be in for a little bit of a battle getting that brand registry. Tim, any comments or questions on those different items that I had mentioned?
No, that's great that you brought up the whole idea of just making sure you had your ducks in a row, making sure that having the branding on the product and everything else, because I have had many conversations with people who don't have all the information put together, and we aren't able then as a result to be able to get them brand registry, and it's a lot of back and forth with Amazon. If everything's all in a row, you submit the application and Amazon approves it, a day or 2 later, and you can just move on. So, get that website ready. We've even seen sometimes where if clients have a website, like you said, a one-pager, Amazon says, hey, this is not a fully functioning website. They want to actually see, some people have even said that they want to see up to and including an actual existing e-commerce website where it shows the product for sale. But I think that was probably a one-off scenario. But you want to make sure you have, your product on that page or on the web page to show the product, to have descriptions about the product, having like an about us, about the history of the company, having contact information match with what Seller Central has. And I think that's a big thing that we neglected to necessarily cover yet. But making sure that, the email address that's on the website matches the email address that's in the seller account, making sure that the phone number matches up. If you have all the information all matching up, it's a slam dunk. Very, very easy to be able to get brand registry at that point.
And who doesn't like a slam dunk, right, Terry?
Absolutely. And I was just going to jump in, thank you, and say that not only can we help you get brand registry, but we can help you with that website if necessary as well.
That's right.
That's right, Terry. Or what's even easier is a layup, right, Tim?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the great thing is, since, we do some of these other things, some people think that, we are only Awesome Dynamic that does, the Amazon consulting, but because we have these other divisions, we can help you with all these other items. So, that's a very powerful thing that we can definitely help you out with.
All right, so without further ado, I don't think we have any additional questions from our audience, so thank you for joining us today. Terry, do you want to take away the wrap-up at this point?
I would love to. Thank you. I think you guys did a great job on this presentation today. I think it's very helpful. A lot of our clients are really interested in this subject, so that'll be great. Take a quick run through the website again real quick. So one thing, point out right away that all of our previous webinars are available on our website, and this one will be shortly as well. There's your tab right up top there to go ahead and get in there. You can spend a lot of time in there, but you can get some great information and pick up quite a few things for us. We use these all the time with potential clients, and I think you should take advantage of those as well. So that I wanted to point out right away. Also wanted to talk to you quickly about getting on our awesome list. Let's get you signed up so you're going to get up-to-date information on everything that's going on here at Awesome Dynamic. Remembering that we're going to help you bring targeted customers to your business. We're going to do that with responsive web design, with great SEO packages that are customized to fit your needs, with our virtual tours, and of course with our Amazon seller consulting model. Also at this point, I wanted to mention that we are always very appreciative if you'd like to give us a 5-star Google review. Means quite a bit to us and our business. There's the tab right down there to go ahead and click on it and click that little blue button and give us a great 5-star review. Very important to us. We really appreciate it. With that being said, we want to remind you that we do these webinars on Thursdays at 12:30. And we'd love to have you join us at any time. Bring your questions, your concerns, and more importantly, bring your friends, people who want to get involved and want to get some information. We'd love to have you with us. And with that being said, I think we're done for today. So if everybody would sign off and say goodbye, we're good to go.
Great. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, take care. Thank you.